Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
We're back in the house.
Yeah.
Guess who's black in the house?
Hey.
Do you know, I really wish that you watched Drag Race, because I feel like if you did, our friendship would reach new heights.
Just let it go. I feel like this is like now becoming like high pressure. Like every 2 seconds, Drag Race. It's not going to happen.
No, but it
Stop
is,
trying to
it
make
is.
fetch happen. It's just not going to happen.
No, but it is. It's already happening, in fact.
No, I do not recall turning on Drag Race, so it's not.
Wow. Anyway, do you know what? The people are listening to you and the people are judging you, so I don't even have to do it. We are back with Epstein, Filthy Rich. We're on episode 3, and this episode is titled The Island.
The Island.
Yeah, The Island, which to be honest, I knew about his private island before
I
this
didn't.
documentary.
I didn't.
Did you not?
mean, I heard about it via social media,
Yeah.
but then I didn't know that much about it till I started watching.
Yeah, I just kind of knew he
documentary.
had an island, and not that many people have islands.
Yeah, I didn't know he did.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like a sex island, but we found that out later. Spoiler alert.
Pedophile's paradise.
Pedophile's paradise. Come on, alliteration. So yeah, the last episode ended with Acosta basically like dropping the charges, or they agree. Yeah, whatever. Basically, nothing is going to be done. Right.
Yeah.
So all the hard work, the bravery of the survivors coming out, all of that is for nothing. It seems.
It's for nothing, essentially.
Exactly. So now we open up, we're at the deposition scene, and it's like been playing through all the episodes of him at his deposition. And he's at his first deposition, and we hear from this lawyer, his name is Spencer Kevin, who represented the first girl that came forward. So I think that his strategy is to basically get under Epstein's skin, because he's done like a psychological analysis of him.
Yeah.
And he discovers that like he's a narcissist, which is like, surprise, surprise. And he uses that to ruffle his feathers, because he asks Epstein,
"Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis?"
And I was just like, what is going on? It was like so early on in this episode, I was like, wait, what? Like, that shit woke me all the way up.
I literally was like, what is happening here? And he goes on to tell him that the witnesses, so the survivors of his debauchery, basically described his penis as being oval shaped. And he like goes into great detail, like describing his penis.
Yeah.
And like Epstein, it's like he looks kind of amused, but then
Yeah,
uncomfortable. Yeah, and then like whoever's representing him basically says like, yeah, meat is done.
Yeah.
And the Epstein that kind of gets up to leave, but then sits back down. It's just a bit all over the shop. And then we move to another scene.
Yeah,
So that whole scene, I think, was just very salacious. Like it wasn't very necessary.
It wasn't necessary
but
at
they
all
knew
for
we were
the-
going to talk about it because it was random as hell.
It wasn't necessary for the documentary. It wasn't necessary for us. But I do want to ask like our listeners, if anybody like has any idea what the fuck an egg-shaped penis is. Like this is not even sexual, but please can you let us know, because I genuinely like do not understand how the penile shape is in its nature like sausage.
It's more long than it is wide.
Yeah, so how unless you're very
Is it
blessed
an
then you
oval?
got both.
Yeah, but then it still wouldn't be.
It
Well,
still wouldn't be an egg. It still wouldn't be if your penis is the thickness of an egg. Please get that checked out. That does not make sense. Like
it was just really confusing to me, as in like from an anatomical standpoint.
Yeah,
it was like, oh right, okay.
If your penis is an egg, I don't even know how you. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But please let us know.
But yeah, I don't.
This is violent kiss all over again. Nobody knows.
Oh Lord. Now we're in Palm Beach, 2008, and our MVP writer is back. He was, if you remember, the chief of police, saying how the FBI identified more victims, but they got very little information back. Like, the FBI were kind of like, look, we're not doing this together, and it's like, stay in your lane type
This
vibes.
is our
Like, the vibe
investigation
writer was
now.
getting. Exactly. So Spencer's back. Spencer, as he will forever be remembered, is the guy who asked Epstein if his dick was shaped like an egg. So him, right? He is saying that he found out, like, he got wind that Epstein was going to be in the courthouse. But it's not like they had scheduled a trial or anything. So it's kind of like, why is he going to be there? And he actually sees Epstein as he's going through security. His lawyers are kind of rushing him through. And then Spencer realizes that, like, something must be going on, because,
Something's
like, this
up,
is last minute. It's very hush-hush, like...
The victims didn't know about it, nothing.
Exactly. Turns out Epstein took a plea deal, a non-prosecution agreement it's known as. And in this deal, he agrees to serve 18 months in a detention facility as opposed to a possible 15 years in jail for crimes that he actually committed.
Bruh, what is going on?
And no one knew about this. Ryder didn't know about it. Spencer didn't know about it. Like, Brad didn't know about it. No one knew. So if you remember, Brad is the lawyer that was defending some of the survivors last time. And he was so annoyed that, like, there wasn't a deal that was about to happen.
Yeah.
Like, the deal had already happened. So there was, like, no chance for anyone to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, no closure, nothing. It's just done.
It's just done. It's like, and the victims don't get their day in court. They don't get their day to speak. It's just... Can somebody say corruption? Because this stinks to and this is where you learn that this shit goes all the way to the tippy top.
All the way to... Do you know, we've been screaming all the way to the top for so many episodes, of this podcast in general. Like, everything, all roads lead to the top.
Trump.
Like, honestly. Trump.
Literally. Trump is going to ban our podcast in America. I'm telling you.
They're not, man. They don't care about us. They don't care about us. So we find out that not only was Epstein given immunity for himself, which is already like, what a wow.
Yeah.
He's also given immunity for any named co-conspirators, so Ghislaine and their man, and any unnamed co-conspirators.
So the unnamed is code for the rich, the famous, and the powerful.
Exactly.
Literally, if you're in case of confusion, that is what it means.
That's what it is. And it's to say that should these unnamed become named, they are, like, they have immunity as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's just like, this is mad. Like, this is actually deeper than rap. Like, clearly it runs so deep,
Yeah.
As in, like, they've only touched the surface, because for you to get immunity for yourself, your named conspirators and unnamed co-conspirators.
It's like you're honestly untouchable. Literally, that's what it comes down to.
And it means that what you've done is so bad that it requires immunity for people that we don't even yet know about and may never know about. But should we find out about them, then they get immunity too. That's how you know they're doing some shit. Do you know what I mean?
They're doing some crazy shit. And this shit is crazy. Just all the way to the top.
All the way to the top.
Can't trust nobody.
We meet this other lawyer and he's like saying that in all his years of practicing, he's never known someone to get immunity like that, but then not just for themselves, for their named others. Co-conspirators, and also for their unnamed co-conspirators. Like, what?
Mm-hmm. But can we also talk about how his named co-conspirators, like, at least the ones we saw, were all women? Do you know, like, how... And at least I was really happy they named and shamed them. Like, there were pictures.
And put pictures of them.
Pictures with the... So, all those people who... Yeah, because I didn't know of them before this documentary.
Yeah, same.
I only knew about Epstein and Ghislaine. So, seeing these women, it was just like, wow. Like, it was just... And the thing is
that you not just see the women, like, you see... Because when we meet some of the survivors later on, they'll say, oh, this person...
You see how they tie into the story.
Exactly. So they're not just innocent and pretty girls who were just hanging around. They were actively recruiting, like, non-suspecting women and girls, which is crazy. So Dershowitz is back, your bestie.
The prick.
And he's basically trying to convince us that there was no conspiracy and everything.
And it's like, do you think we're fucking stupid?
Sure,
like,
Jan.
Don't insult my intelligence, please.
Honestly. And the thing is that so Alan Dershowitz, he says, that, like, sort of in passing, that, like, Epstein is going to serve his time, and he's also agreed to make compensations to the victims. He says victims, obviously survivors, but to make compensations to them. And I remembered what Foren said last week about the fact that he made it impossible for them to receive compensation because of what he was doing with his money. So it's like you're trying to say to yourself, and you probably helped him move his money around anyway. So you're trying to say to yourself, yeah, look, he's going to jail, tick. He's helping with compensation, tick. Like, but you know damn well that, like, none of it is enough.
And on top of that, like, Dershowitz tries to, like, explain as to why he got this deal. Like, he tries to insult our intelligence by basically saying, like, he was like, oh, you dumb bitches, it wasn't a big conspiracy, like, you're all making it out to be this big thing. He basically tries to downplay and make it so simplistic. He's like, oh, the government just didn't have enough evidence for a case, so they cut a deal because they knew it would be the best thing because they didn't have enough evidence, they didn't have reliable witnesses. And it's like, no, you had as we remember from last episode, there was a 54-page, like, dossier on this guy's bullshit. Kind of, he was indictment ready, but he went into that room. He said, listen, I have this person, and this person, and that person involved. Do you really want this shit getting out? And they're like, oh, no, we don't. Can you imagine?
And this is what I'm saying. I think about how deep it is, that they would rather look dumb, because the DA in that looked dumb in public, and they're gonna have people onto that, like, on their necks. They would rather that than whatever Epstein has, which means that whatever is going on there is so deep.
It's deeper than rap.
Deeper than rap. Epstein says that basically, obviously, he's trying to say there's no conspiracy, like, it's all fine. He feels like his sentence was very harsh.
Oh.
Like, just get out of here.
Oh, sorry.
The state charge is simply a procurement charge. It has nothing to do with sex. It's a procurement for prostitution.
He's trying to emphasize that, like, he was charged with solicitation of a prostitute,
but he didn't leave his house,
trying to get a prostitute. And I'm only saying prostitute because he said prostitute. But then he was also charged with procuring a minor for prostitution, which he alleges doesn't actually mean he had intercourse with them. And it's like, whether you dot the I's, you cross the T's, whatever it is, in your heart of hearts, you know what you did.
So just shut up.
People not. Just shut up. You're trying to say you got a harsh sentence, and
literally.
It's like, my brother.
And he even had the
15
audacity to say, like, he didn't leave his house to procure any prostitutes, that they came to him, like, people came to his house.
And he's referring to these children as prostitutes. And then we hear from one of these survivors, Courtney Wild, and she's saying that
they labeled us as underage prostitutes. And it's embarrassing to be identified as that. It's embarrassing. It's hurtful. It's all kinds of things.
He's basically calling them child prostitutes, which is inaccurate, and it minimizes their experience and the fact that they were actually abused, because they weren't prostitutes. And Courtney makes a really good point, because she's saying that, like, first of all, I'm sexually abused by Epstein, and then it's like I've been re-victimized and just fucked by the government.
Again,
and the government was supposed to protect me. So what? Do you know what I mean? Like, where do I stand now? It's proper sad.
It's so sad. And can I just say, this is why when people say stuff like, come forward, like, victim, blah, 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 like, I hear you, but this is why when people hear shit like this, they're like, nah, you know what, I'm not even on it, especially if that person is in a position of power over you. Even if they aren't, to be honest. There are cases where, like, you can be raped by someone who of equal stature, but just because of, you know, understanding how misogynistic and other things and victim blaming the society we live in is, like, the same outcome still happens where these guys walk off scot-free, essentially.
And then it's crazy because even when you do come to the police, because when Maria Farmer went to the police, the FBI, nothing happened. And that's not to say that she shouldn't have gone, because like I said last episode, like, her doing that helped to buttress this case. But again, because of the powers that be and how powerful this guy was, even with all of that, it didn't really amount to anything at this point. So it's just sad. But Brad is back. Remember, Brad is the lawyer. You remember Brad?
I remember Brad.
Brad files a lawsuit because he says that the survivors should be able to know if a deal's being offered, and they weren't told anything. They just woke up one day, everything was done out here.
Yeah.
And so if this lawsuit that Brad is bringing is successful, then the court might decide that the prosecutors have the right to prosecute Epstein and his co-conspirators. Right? So that non-prosecution agreement would be void.
Because the deal would be seen as unlawful.
Exactly, which is. But Brad makes the point that no one has taken into consideration that these survivors aren't just in Florida. Like, some of them were trafficked, lent out to other people around the country, around the world. Like, this is a big deal. This is not just a small thing. Do you know what I mean?
It's a whole network.
It's a whole network. So we're back to Virginia Giuffre. And she tells us this random thing. I just put it in here because, like, it was just so random as hell. Like, on one of his birthdays, Epstein purchased 3 12-year-old girls from their parents in France. So they came over, he abused them, and then sent them back to France the next day. And it's, like, so specific that I was like,
it has to be true. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, when something is so weird, it's like me saying to you, oh, he had a missing middle toe. Like, it's such a wild and specific thing.
Specific.
It has to be true. Like, it's and the thing is, like, I heard that in the documentary they say that they paid off the parents, and it's like, how do you like? But then again, there has to be a level of poverty you're in where you're like, you know what, I know this is fucked, but we need the money so bad. And
but they also may not know the extent of what they were gonna do, or like what their children.
But either way, you don't randomly let someone take your kid with pay. Do you know what I mean? It's
true. Like, what reason would there be?
What positive reason? You're not taking them to Disneyland. Yeah, like, come on.
So now we're in Spain and we meet Sarah Ransom, who tells us she was sexually trafficked by Epstein in 2006. And it just makes you realise, like, there are so many women.
Literally.
And we kind of touched on this last week, like, these are only the ones that have come forward and that have agreed to be seen on the documentary. This is nowhere near
all the women.
Everyone.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's a spider web of women.
So we find out that she had been raped when she was 14. And her situation, and this is what we were talking about just before, she met one of the co-conspirators, his recruiters, in a club. And so she met her, and then she was like, oh, you're really pretty, I know this philanthropist, blah blah blah. And like they introduce her to him, and they make it kind of like it's a privilege, like, oh, he really liked you, like
you were the chosen one.
Island, private plane. Yeah. And she's 22, so she's not underage, but she's still young and impressionable, and it doesn't matter how, even if she was 32, it doesn't matter, okay? Because abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter how old you are. And so she goes with them. Like, she says that on the private plane on the way to the island is when she notices like the first red flag.
Jeffrey started having hardcore sex in front of everybody with another girl, and everyone else was sort of pretending to be asleep and ignoring it, and I just found it really odd that no one was saying or reacting, so I just pretended to sort of nod off. I didn't know where to look.
And it's like, this shows you that this is normal behaviour. Like, they're just kind of like, oh Jeffrey, whatever.
Oh, Jeff.
This is what he does.
Good old Jeff.
Bad old Jeff. So now we are at the island. It's called Little St. James Island in the US Virgin Islands. He calls it Little St. Jeff's, whatever. It's crazy because like you must have mad peas to like have an island. Like, it's an island. It's not a plot of land. Like,
literally, it's an island. And like, they showed the different buildings and houses, and even to run it as well, you need to have staff. Like, it's wild.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Like, he has a maintenance man that we meet. Like, he has like phone towers and stuff. And yeah, I mean, instead of used to be using this island for like good vibes and doing pool parties and stuff, we're using it to abuse women and bring men to do
literally
the same.
The pool parties I would have here. Like,
as in, just be good vibes. Just be good vibes.
Just be good vibes. That's all we ask.
And imagine you have a whole island, you have buildings, and no one needs to pay for accommodation. Just get in a private jet. Do you know how calm that would... Anyway,
you God bring your friends, I bring my friends. We can be friends.
I'm gonna start taking shots every time we do a song. Do you know what I was thinking? Yeah, I was listening to our podcast today because I do that, and I was thinking that we should actually do like a playlist of all the songs that we reference.
Oh yeah, we should, and then put it on like Spotify and Apple.
Yeah, I don't have Apple Music, but whatever.
And it could be like the Insecure, like yeah.
Yeah, we just do like because I mean, you know, we're singing that.
We be singing.
So now we meet Steve Scully. Scully reminded me of Brooklyn Nine-Nine right away.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh
yeah, duh. He works on the island from 1999 to 2005, 2006, and he did maintenance, so he knows how like important privacy was to Epstein, right? And he says that he always saw young girls on the island. He's seen Dershowitz there, which is the scumbag lawyer. He saw Bill Clinton there. One time he saw a naked man with 3 young girls who were topless. One time he saw Prince Andrew with a girl who was young, and they were like doing up foreplay. And Virginia, who had also been to the island, not like on a fun trip, she was obviously abused. She said that, to be fair, like not all men took part in the sexual abuse bit. Like sometimes they were just kind of there. Which, I mean, I get it, but there's the bully, the bullies, and the bystander. And the bystander is just as bad as the bully.
Just as bad. Yep.
There we go. It's like the difference between being non-racist and being anti-racist.
Yeah.
Being non-racist, you're still part of the problem. You need to be anti-racism. So
exactly.
Yeah. So Steve tells us that one day he's at work, okay? After working there for however many years, he's at work and he sees a pool guy. And the pool guy asks him, like, why are you doing this, bro? Like, why are you working for Epstein? Like, do you have kids? And Steve has 2 teenage daughters, right? And so the pool guy's like to him, would you want your daughters coming to the island? And Steve was like, no, he wouldn't want his daughters anywhere near Epstein. And so he quits his job the next day.
I wish you guys could see my face right now.
Honestly. It's like, I get what he's trying to say, but like it's so frustrating to me because it's like, why is it that women have to be like attached to a societal role before like you can respect them? It's like, so before you realize all of a sudden that you had teenage daughters, you didn't think, oh, these are somebody's daughters, but or this is a woman literally who needs to.
And it's a bit tongue-in-cheek coming from the pool boy because you fucking work for Epstein too.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, don't come and tell me about the shit I'm eating when don't come and tell me, burger. It's like you eating a burger, a chicken burger, and someone else is eating a beef burger, and they're coming and saying to you, oh, do you know chicken burgers are really bad for you? Like, my nigga, you're eating a beef burger. Like, don't come and tell me about... It's not even
that. You're both eating chicken burgers.
It's true. You're both actually eating chicken burgers. I said bacon on mine burgers. Or cheese, and you just... Like, fam, like, what is you saying?
I literally was there. I was like, fam, what is you saying? Like, you're here. We're both here. We're looking at each other.
I'd have been like, Tim, mind your business. Like, honestly. Literally. I'm like, I have two kids that need, like, I don't know, but just mind your business. Unless the poor boy's argument was that he didn't have kids, which again is even worse.
But this is the thing, is that, like, the fact that Steve quit the next day, it's like, was that the conversation that tipped you over the edge?
Was that the straw that, this time? Like,
literally, the can was back.
It wasn't when you saw the guy fondling, like, your underage girls on the beach that
wasn't it.
Or Prince Andrew sweating profusely in the we'll get into his sweat glands, but it wasn't that tipped you over the edge. For goodness sake.
The men are just the weakest link.
Literally weakest.
The ones in this documentary, except for Ryder. Ryder is the real MVP, and I'll say that till I die.
And James Patterson.
Oh yeah, okay, cool, fine.
He was like...
Sarah tells us that as soon as she gets on the island, so remember, she was on the plane, the violent sex, and then they get on the island. As soon as she gets on the island, she was summoned by Epstein and he raped her, right? Mm-hmm. She tells us about how she tried to escape and she wanted to, like, swim away. So she went to a remote part of the island. But Epstein found her. So she was like, rah, there's cameras on this island. Yeah. He came and found me right away. I mean, obviously she couldn't swim anywhere because, like, where are you going? But it's like being in that trauma and that shock. I'm just thinking, I need to fucking get away. Like, I'd rather drown in the ocean than stay here. Do you know what I mean? And then we meet another survivor. Oh, like, how many women? It's not like I'm tired of meeting them or I'm bored of the documentary.
It's more just
like
how
the sheer
far
number of women. And also the escalation. So, Shantae Davies, we meet her, and she was his private masseuse. So, she's on the island. She goes to give him a massage like she normally does. And then he rapes her. And I put here, like, he seems to be becoming more violent. And I feel like this island is allowing him to be as depraved as he wants to be.
Because it's private. No trust. Like, nothing.
It's and like, also, you can't. Where are you going to go? Where are you actually going to go?
I don't even know what the extradition rights are or laws are for, like, that island to America. But if they're minimal, then he really can do what the fuck he wants. And who gonna check him, boo? Literally.
Exactly.
That was the vibe.
Exactly. Like, it's actually matting. So now we find out about Epstein's time in jail. So jail, you know, when he does a little 18 months, yeah?
Oh, shoot me now.
I wish you could see Foren's face right now.
I am over it, Summer Walker.
I'm gonna skim past it because it will infuriate you.
It will infuriate you.
He was in a private wing, right? Cell door was kept open. He got to meet up with people. He got to get the food that he wanted brought in. He had girls come into jail. He's on work release. Now, work release means you can leave jail to go to work and then come home. He's on work release 6 days out of 7 days. And he's on work release for 12 hours. So for 12 hours of the day, he's out and about living his best life. Comes back to jail.
Raping everybody.
His cell door is open, living his best life, eating what he wants. And most of the time, he's probably asleep. So I think we can all conclude that the jail sentence is a joke. And do you know who's also a joke? Alex Acosta.
But can I just tell you the key thing about this, like, jail sentence as well, is so basically they say that any, like, all people in prison, well, not all people in prison, but I guess anybody in this particular kind of prison, whatever, can have access to this work release. So it's not like it was a thing exclusive to Epstein. But one of the requirements of this work release is that you must have a deputy follow you around whilst you go to work, obviously to make sure that you're not doing anything crazy. Now, this off-duty deputy that you must have, you have to pay for this. This amounts to $42 per hour.
An hour.
Which by the end, when we see Epstein's bill, was $126,136.
Light work.
Like, who has those peas, fam? Only and the rich. And this is where we get back to money being able to buy you out of anything. Because if that was me, I would have stayed in prison because I can't afford that.
And this is what I mean. And this is what we mean by, like, systemic racism and structural racism and things just being it. Because, like, they may not say, okay, you can't do this because you're black, or you can do this because you're white. But the way the loopholes are, so like the sheriff rightly said, anybody has access to this. Like, the reason that you can't do it personally is because you're broke or because you don't have the money or whatever.
Why are you then broke?
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Some people try to say that, like, structural racism or, like, systemic racism doesn't exist. I'm like, my brother, it's just one big circle of sadness. Like,
literally,
honestly,
because who makes up most of the unemployed and low income population in America? It is people of color, black, Mexican, like, Asian, like these are the people, the white people, you make up most of the top percentile of earners.
If you want to use that privilege or like that wealth or whatever, okay, cool, you can be doing, oh yeah, I donated to this, I've funded this research, I've funded that research. How about you pay for somebody's work release program so that person can actually be going to work while they're in jail? Like, there's ways to use your privilege, do you know what I mean?
Literally.
Or your wealth, or your whatever it is, your money, whatever the fuck. But Jeffrey, basically, they're trying to rationalize it, like he's not doing anything wrong because he's following the rules. It's just that not everyone can follow the rules.
Literally.
I'm like, okay, sir, however you want to cut it, slice it, dice it.
Sir. And also, can I just say, I meant to say this in regards to the island. I don't know if I mentioned this, but on last episode, I think I said that, like, Anonymous have released, like, Epstein's black book.
People who've been on there, yeah.
Everybody who's been on that fucking island, you need to answer for what the fuck you were doing on there. Naomi Campbell, I am calling you the fuck out, because she has been so quiet. She loves a rich billionaire and an island. You need to explain what you were doing on that island. I'm not even joking.
Sorry, the Anonymous thing, was it a list of like contacts, or was it a list of like, was it also the flight path?
So it had contacts. It had like their names, their contacts, and then it had like notes, almost like a note section. And like Naomi like has notoriously been on the island.
Yeah.
And it's like, and this is the thing. Like, I'm not saying that she partook in anything. Is that the right word? Is partook?
Yeah,
partaked?
I would partook it. Yeah.
Yeah, partook. I'm not saying she partook in any nefarious activities, but what I am saying is, you must have seen something. Ain't no way you ain't seen something. You would have seen Andrew sweating in that pool. You would have seen that old guy on the beach with those topless girls that were probably barely 16. You must have seen something. And you kept going onto his island, rubbing your shoulders with the rich and famous on his private jet. They need to answer for themselves. I'm sorry, like, we need to start holding these people accountable. I don't care how much she's your fave. Like,
no, it's true.
The fact that she's been so silent since that list has been released is grinding my gears. Like, it's pissing me off. Like, literally.
Because the thing is that, like, even though Virginia was like, yeah, not everybody took part, I very much doubt a man with this depravity able to do what he did would just take a bunch of celebrities and not have some girls with him. Like, even if they looked old enough, like, I don't know, like,
you must have seen something.
It's like you know, when like there's like rapey guys, and you're like to their friends, like, brother, do you not see that your boy is a bit somehow?
It's a bit weird. Like, you must see it. And even that overlooking,
even if you see the behaviors, even if you didn't witness a rape, you see certain tendencies and behaviors. Like, talk to your boy or distance yourself from that person.
Literally. And we'll get into that aspect of the celebrity culture, actually, because it's coming up.
Yeah. So he's out of jail. He served 13 of the 18 months. And so he basically served, I'm doing quotation marks, 13 of the 18 months. And he's now on house arrest on probation. And he violated it. He lives his best life. Like, this guy literally not just thinks he's above the law, but he is above the law. He is. Because violating probation is usually illegal. But for Epstein, it's not illegal.
What happened to Meek Mill when he violated probation? By riding a dirt bike. That nigga found himself all the way back in jail. Epstein was living the vida loca.
There was even photographic proof of the fact that he wasn't there. The private investigator guy called his probation officer and was like, "Where's Epstein right now?" And they were like, "He's at home." And he's like, "No, he's not. He's at the hotel. He's at the what hotel was it? He's at some hotel."
It was the Intercontinental Miami. That's it. And the only reason I know this is because I stayed at that hotel. And
wow, you need to answer for your actions.
I need to answer for my crimes. Luckily, I stayed at this hotel last year, so this was way after Epstein, and I'm sure that they must hate the fact that because literally the only reason I remembered is
Intercontinental.
I saw the Intercontinental and I was like, oh my gosh, like, we stayed in that hotel like when we went for the cruise, and I was like to my mum, like, this is not a good look. But we stayed before all this shit came out anyways. But they need to answer for their crimes, letting him stay all up in there. But I was just like to my sister, I didn't even know we had peas like that to stay in a hotel where like...
you don't have it, Uncle does, so bloop.
Yeah, okay, I didn't even know my parents had peas like that. But to be fair, we did see, fun fact, on a more positive note, do you watch 90 Day Fiancé?
Only when you tell me to.
Okay, so there's this couple and they started like their own show. It's Chantel and like some other guy. And like the guy always says, family de Chantel. Anyways, yeah, we saw them. That was really fun. But yeah, okay.
So I'm sure someone out there appreciates.
Yeah, I'm sure someone out there knows like who I'm talking about. But yeah, that was
same
fun.
way someone out there appreciates Drag Race. So
girl, let it go. Let that shit go.
Never. All Stars 5 just came out as well. So you guys who are watching it,
this is like when you see people trying to put like their short hair into a
reply.
ponytail. That's how you are with not letting this shit go.
Oh my God. The thing is that like it's actually crazy to me because Drag Race is an amazing show. Like I'm not even trying to force it. I don't even bring it up to you like that anymore because I just feel like if you cannot, like, how many times must I tell you to watch it? Do you know what I mean?
I have friends
specifically. Listen, I tried. Listen, I have friends specifically that I speak to about Drag Race. Yeah, I just feel like if you watched it, yeah, our relationship would just be on a whole nother level. There's so many references that I want to make and I just don't make them because you won't get it.
We have other shows to reference. Like, this is not the beginning and the end of our relationship.
I'm not saying it's the beginning and end of our relationship. I'm just sorry guys, domestics, hold on. I'm just saying, yeah, that like imagine, okay, say our relationship is on a 10 right now. Our relationship could be on a 25. And that's out of 10.
Don't you dare say it's a whole 15 levels up because of Drag Race.
Okay, cool. Anyway, when I'm chatting to Vicky, yeah, and you're getting jealous, then cool, be jealous, innit?
I'm going to throw you in the whole ass bin, okay?
Do you see? Okay, do you know what? Let's move on, guys. They don't want to hear all this.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear all this. So Shantae, who is the private masseuse, after the rape, she goes on another trip.
Private masseuses, there's one guy in need. This just shows
This is the same one.
No, but don't you remember last episode, like, he had, like, another private masseuse as well? Like
but I feel like this one was like an official private masseuse.
Okay, fair enough.
She was actually a masseuse.
Okay. Just a masseuse with some rape on the side, but yeah.
Oh, God, honestly, it's so sad. She goes on another trip. This time she goes to Africa.
What country in Africa, sis?
It seems she goes to the whole continent because she doesn't specify one particular country. She never specifies one particular country.
I think we know from like what we understand of the trip that it was South Africa, but they never say. And it's like, stop fucking putting Africa into one continent. Like, South Africa's so different from Western Africa. Where did you go, sis?
There are so many countries in Africa.
Okay, fam.
So I'm assuming she went to the whole of Africa because that's what she told me. So it was a busy trip for her. They're on the private plane. She sees Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, and she says that on that trip, because it was like a charity event, there was no abuse on that trip. So she was kind of like, oh,
things are
like
cool.
Maybe it's done. Yeah, and I can understand why she might think that, like, okay, do you know, maybe he was just drunk or it was a one-time
Yeah, it was a one-time thing. Yeah.
But after the trip, the abuse continued right away. Mm-hmm. And one thing that really pisses me off about Shantae, and I know she feels bad enough about it herself, so I'm not really trying to judge her, I'm just saying what happened in the documentary. They find out, so Jelana and Epstein find out she has a 17-year-old sister. So they're randomly in LA and they're like, oh, come for lunch. And her sister is living with her. And so she brings her 17-year-old sister along to the people who raped her. And this is similar to Maria, because I feel like when this happens, and this makes so much sense in terms of victims blaming or survivors blaming themselves, because you feel like, oh my God, it's my fault, he did it because of me. Like, it wouldn't happen to anybody else. Do you know what I mean? Because I did something and like my sister wouldn't do that same something, so it wouldn't happen to her. So I feel like I kind of get why they kind of feel like, oh yeah, you know, whatever. But anyway, long story short, it's the same MO. They see the young girl, the sister, offer to pay for her education in Spain. And then Shantae finds out that like her sister's also being abused.
And just like...
Not only that, but she has an altercation with Epstein and Harvey Weinstein, which doesn't even
surprise me. Trash
whatsoever.
Follows trash. They must have been like...
They just affiliate.
Swimming in the same bathwater, having the same... Can you imagine how... Like, they are... Oh, Weinstein makes me fucking sick.
Literally. And so Shantae confronts Epstein about this. He doesn't say anything. He says that she'll be nothing without him, and he hangs up the phone. And that's that.
They never spoke again, yeah.
That's it. We found out that Epstein has actually bought the loyalty of all this like high society people.
Yep.
Like, he's funded academic research, he's donated to like medical conventions, universities, so like he was pretty much able to just continue after being in jail like as normal. Like,
he was welcomed in open arms.
Welcome with open arms, living his best life, like having parties, people would come, like nothing really changed for him. And I think literally all these people needs to be answered to, because he wouldn't have been allowed to be so big. It's just like in school, when people are gassing up the bully and making them feel big and bad and still talking to them and going to their little birthday parties, then the bully can continue to be a bully. If everyone drops out the bully, then they will either just go away or they will stop being a bully. Do you get what I mean?
But, and also one thing as well is that this guy was really smart, because he set himself up in a way where it was like people needed him. He was like, he was so necessary that it was like they would rather deal with if everybody just kept quiet and pretended they didn't know about the immoral shit he was doing, they could continue to benefit and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
That's how he set himself up. Because even when we hear like a recorded interview and he's talking about how he donated this amount of money and that there's so many different things that we wouldn't even know or have in terms of technology and healthcare if he hadn't donated money for this cause, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that is his like, I don't know if redeeming factors.
Jail free card.
Yeah, literally, that is his get out of jail free card. Like, I donate all this money. All these people are my friends, so therefore I will always be welcome. Can you imagine being the victim and seeing the survivor and seeing like this guy just living his life as per usual?
Because it's twofold. Because it's like, one, those people are indebted to him because of what he's already donated, and two, they're loyal to him because of what he can donate in the future. So it just works either way. Like, even if he doesn't give them another penny, because he's given them so much already, they are indebted to him.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he could possibly give them more
is
like
yeah.
So it's just like, as a survivor, it's just like, why did I even come forward, man?
Literally.
Like, this is beyond me. Like, it's
is
actually
so
above me
fucked.
now. So we find out a bit more. Like, this is the end of this part of the documentary. Now we've got one more episode after this. We find out more about Virginia Giuffre's escape from Epstein. I loved this part of the documentary because it just made me so happy. I was like, yes, girl, go on, girl. Yeah. So when Virginia's on the island getting abused, Ghislaine asks her to have a baby for her and Epstein, and not just that, but to sign over her parental rights.
What the fuck is going on? Like, how
did we get here?
Like, how did we actually get here? Like, first of all,
did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here.
BD's like, one like and I'll sing. Like, in fact, she's like, listen, I'm just finna sing. If y'all like it, great. If y'all don't, cool.
American Boy, the full version is coming.
But listen, no, like, what I was gonna say is, like, first of all, like, then what is wrong with your own uterus? And even
maybe
if
something is actually wrong with
no,
it.
No, but and this is what I'm going to say. Even if there is something wrong with your uterus, because I ain't checking nobody's uterus, there are other options. What is the meaning of you have a baby and sign it over to me? Is this like the 1900s? Are we just stealing babies?
At first, I thought she was trying to imply like be a surrogate, but then when she said like sign over your parental rights, I was like, so it's gonna be my baby?
Can you even do that though? Can I literally have a baby and without going through the due process of adoption, just sign over parental rights?
I mean, Epstein probably can.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
As in, one thing I've learned from this documentary is if you make enough money, you can do what the hell you like.
No. If you make enough money and you're white, you can do whatever the hell you like. Because you can have all this money and be black. I don't think Oprah can operate this far above the law. The only way she can do this is by staying in the pockets of white people.
And also, exactly. And also, they just need, like, they want you to be high, like, a couple of you to be high enough so they can reference you when other black people start chatting.
Exactly.
But they still want to be like, calm down, boy.
Calm down.
Because you can't really do up all that. Yeah, it's true.
That boy is with a capital B.
Yeah, trust me, that's boy racistly. So Virginia basically says, you know what, cool, I'll have your baby, but let me get my massage certificate first, and then do it, all systems go.
Yeah, sis.
I was like, come on, sis. So they sent her to Thailand to get her massage certificate.
And Thailand of all places, I know Thai is like famous for massages, but it's also famous for like happy ending massages. Anyways, I guess this is the specific kind of massage that Jeffrey is into. So he's like, yes, go and perfect your skill and come back so I can abuse you more. Like, what the hell?
He's mad. So sis gets to Thailand and she meets the love of her life and marries him within 7 days. Still in Thailand, right? And it's like white people can love.
Yeah, that's just white people romance.
I love this story. Like, she meets him 7 days later, she's married to him in Thailand. And then she moves back to Australia with him. And she's been with him ever since.
Literally.
Like, do you know how this is the most amazing story to me?
Like, but this is like Uber romance. It's so free from the bondage that you find in like black, especially black London romance. Black London romance, 7 days. He hasn't even asked for your number yet. He's still maybe in your DMs.
7 days you've been looking at each other.
Literally, he's still maybe in your... Look at 7 days, how long it took Craig David in 7 days to just make... Like, literally, I'm telling you, like, Black UK romance is as slow as a 80-year-old woman with a Zimmer frame. Like, you ain't going nowhere.
It's actually slow and steady and nobody wins the race. Like,
literally
honestly,
nobody.
Like,
everybody walks away from the race before you can... throw the whole dating scene in the bin. I cannot believe it.
We're still running the race. Yeah,
literally.
It's actually a mad thing, fam. It's
7 days married. I said,
7 days married.
Oyibo people can love.
They can love, and they're still together. They're still together. This happened when she was like 18, and she must be in her 30s now.
And they still together.
Crazy,
girl.
So she's a better woman than me, because she actually calls Epstein to tell him that she's married and she's not coming back. And again, he hangs up on her.
But this is a testament to the kind of person he is, because I really do believe that what he does is he creates this facade, or this fantasy that, like, you're actually a happy family, like he's really your friend, he cares about you. So why wouldn't you call him? He paid for your ticket to Thailand.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? It's just a testament to the kind of... Meanwhile, like, we learn in this episode, like, he's actually a sociopath. He's incapable of feeling like remorse, empathy, any of those emotions. So... It's all the way fucked up.
To be honest, it shouldn't be surprising that. And, like, part of her probably was wanting him to be happy for her, because someone in your family or someone you spent time with would be like, oh, yeah, well done. Yeah. He hangs up on her, one and done.
I felt free. I mean, I immediately felt like the chains broke off.
She felt like they need to bring him and everyone else involved to justice. This is the end now.
Well, her husband's like, hells yeah. Like,
her husband, this is what I'm saying. Like, this Australian man that she met in Thailand and married in 7 days, I mean... Craig David could never.
He could never.
Because he didn't even marry her.
He didn't marry her. Like, how lucky could you... How lucky... Like, and then, I don't know. I'm going to write a book on, like, Uber romance, because I'm telling you, how do you meet, like, the actual love of your life? He's so supportive. You just up and move to Australia, live happily ever after, and he's willing to take down this mogul.
Like, till this day. It's crazy. And it's like, you went from such a terrible situation to one of the best situations.
Anyone could be in.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. This is crazy.
No, honestly. I was waiting for you to do it.
I've seen a video about, like, when it's lockdown and it's Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Thursday. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
It's still crazy, man.
It's still crazy. Yeah.
I'm seeing people snaps in America and they're, like, out doing brunch and stuff. And I'm just like, when?
America's open, though. It's open.
God, when? I can't go to America for a couple of years now, because, boy, I don't know what they're doing out there.
That's what I was about to say. As it's open, they finna be coughing. So
I'm closed, boy.
Yeah. But guys, yeah. We are done with this.
We're going to do one more episode. So the last episode we're going to put out in a couple of days. So thanks for rocking with us all this time. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can do at 2girls1doc. Same on Twitter, same on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at Miss Beady. Same on Twitter. Facebook is for 45 plus. No, I'm joking.
You can find me on Twitter, 4ends with 1 underscore, and Instagram, 4ends with 2 underscores. Yes, girl. Follow the girl, message the girl. Yes, my birthday next week. Well, not next week, it's on Sunday. So by the time you guys hear this, it'll be like 14th basically. Send your girl flowers. Send your girl Chanel bag.
Send them to our PO box.
Yeah, send them to our PO box. Send me send me deposit money. Okay, that's really what I need. I got a Cash App. You can put that deposit money straight there. I'm finna buy a house.
They're not even listening anymore, man. They're like, off.
You never know. There might be one billionaire in this that listens to us. Random billionaire.
Maybe.
That's like,
we should make a 2girls1doc Cash App. It's gonna be like tips.
We should, because we entertaining y'all. But yeah,
come on for free. Well, unless you're on Spotify, then you pay for that premium life. All right, guys, thank you. We've chatted enough shit today. We are gonna put out the next episode, and then it'll be Epstein done. All right, guys, have a lovely day, week, morning, evening, whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go now. We're just chatting shit now.
All right, okay, bye.